Now, India is working towards diplomatically isolating Pakistan after that terror attack. Senior foreign ministry officials are reaching out to important partners and apprising them of Pakistan's inaction against terrorism. Indian ambassadors have begun briefing the foreign governments about the terror attack. Foreign Secretary and secretaries from other ministries are meeting envoys of the P5 countries or the permanent members of the UN Security Council, including China, France, Russia, Britain and the US. The Indian envoys are also reaching out to the Gulf nations, nations from Europe, Japan, South Korea. ASEAN ambassadors have been called tomorrow by the Indian Foreign Office for a briefing as well. The Indian envoy to Thailand has also called on the Director General of the Department of South Asian Affairs at the Thai Foreign Office to brief him about the Pulwama attack. Let's get in further details on that front from our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, we've seen as many as 40 countries express their condolences, reach out to the Indian authorities, expressing their condemnation in the strongest words against that Pulwama terror attack. And at the same time, the Indian envoys also in the respective countries trying to ensure that they take the steps that are necessary to try and isolate Pakistan at an international level.
Well, that is New Delhi's focus, isolation of Pakistan. That has been a focus ever since the Uri attack took place, and we saw how the regional countries boycotted the SAARC summit in Islamabad, and New Delhi will be stepping up its efforts when it comes to isolation of Pakistan. That is why it's briefing the ambassadors even as we speak. The P5 Gulf, South Korean, Japanese ambassador are being briefed. Tomorrow, the ASEAN ambassadors will be briefed about how Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism in the region, give evidence behind the attack which took place in Jammu and Kashmir, the worst attack in almost 20 years. But India will also be focusing on other initiatives such as the Comprehensive Convention on Terrorism, which calls for a common definition on terrorism. We do expect some sort of action or consensus building by New Delhi to have this in place, because this was New Delhi's initiative, but it was languishing at the United Nations primarily because of no consensus. That is why India is going to step up the consensus formation there. But focus will also be on China, because that is the only country that is coming in between India and India's initiatives, or whether it's taking tough action on Islamabad. Because remember, China was the only country that blocked Masood Azhar, the chief of Jaish-e-Mohammed, the terror group which has taken responsibility of this terror attack which took place in Jammu and Kashmir, which is blocking the designation under the United Nations Security Council committee, the 1267 committee at the UN.
And on the most favored nation status, Siddhant, in what ways do you think that could possibly pinch Pakistan?
Well, that is something that is not going to majorly pinch Pakistan, because when we look at the trade between India and Pakistan, it's not very high. But this is a political message which New Delhi has said by withdrawing the most favored nation status, which gives a privileged treatment to a country when it's given this most favored nation status by giving high quotas, low tariff. And it will be impacting, given the fact that Pakistani economy is currently not doing very good. It's fragile with the begging bowl. Imran Khan is going to IMF, he is going to Saudi Arabia, he is going to UAE, to China, and Pakistan in a sense is working its business, its day-to-day economic activities, government economic activity primarily with the grants which have been given by Gulf countries. So that of course is a political message which New Delhi has sent, and that of course is a message to bring at home the point that it's time that Islamabad stops supporting terrorism in the region.